Welcome back, folks. It's MD.
That's up.
Dang.
It's the Chop. Bringing you a different perspective on today's hottest shows. And do remember, please hit that subscribe and hit that bell. A chop means it's hot, and a swerve means it's not. Well, let's get into it. The first show, fellas. Homicide Hunters.
ID
Network. Kemper. What's going on with him?
Joe Kemper. Joe. I mean, this guy's been around for some years. He was a homicide detective. He had a 92% clearance rate with his cases. And the show basically reminds me a lot of watching like Cops or 48 Hours. It's like a lot of stories where they're reenactments. You have actors that really don't have good jobs as being actors, So for me, watching this is kind of, I get entertainment out of it, because the stories are serious. And this one in particular this week was kind of serious but comical at the same time. This story takes place in some town. I'm not sure exactly where it was, but there were like four guys. They were apparently war buddies. And one of the main characters had PTSD. Long story short, they get into a beer drinking contest and decide to play Russian roulette, which goes bad. It was crazy. This episode just was like, yeah. I don't have much but that for you this week. So, fellas, what do you think?
Well, the name of the episode that we watched was Shallow Grave. It was the last episode that aired. Episode 12, season 8. Wow. Okay, so Jeffrey Pearson, or Doc, he's the guy who got killed in this episode. His wife, Barbara Pearson, believed that it was a suicide because Jose Chavez said, yeah, my man Jose, he told her so. When really, you gotta watch Jose. Because Jose is no snitch until they put him on a polygraph. Then he says, I don't want to be involved in this, I ain't no snitch, but Ricky did it. Watching the show, it's kind of like it's like a mix of watching, if you guys remember America's Most Wanted, it's like a mix of America's Most Wanted and any other detective show that you've ever watched.
Yes.
Ever.
Just replace Joe Walsh with Joe.
Kemper. He's the most basic homicide detective. His jokes are basic. He's giving you basic delivery on his messages. He's doing anything a regular detective would do. And I thought it was going to be something different. It depends on how you like your murder shows, your detective shows. But I thought it was going to be a little something different. I enjoyed talking or watching them talk, but at the end of the day, I might have to go ahead and give it a swerve. Now, I don't know about them, but I'm going to swerve it off.
I too am going to give it a swerve, but in case you guys were wondering, Ricky got convicted, and he got 2 to 4 years. And should you watch this, you know what, you ladies, this ID channel, you guys are dark.
Yeah, it's very dark.
Like, I looked at the whole lineup on the ID channel. What are you ladies thinking? What are you trying to do to us guys on the low? We're watching you.
Deadly
women. It's all bad. But this particular show definitely gets a swerve.
Yeah, definitely a swerve for me. I'm not really into murder mysteries, like that, where it's reenactment. So for me, it's definitely a swerve. Next up, we got Dirty John on the Bravo Network. And this show is like lifetime material. You got Eric Banner playing the main character, John, and you have Connie Brittain, who is his basically his target. John is a mysterious man. Connie is divorced. She has 2 daughters. She's out, the show begins, she's going out, online dating. And John ends up being one of the dates that she goes on that attracts her. From there, the story just spins out of control. John is he's coming off as this doctor, but you're not really sure if he's a doctor because he's coming to work in scrubs and looks like a nurse. So from there, it's this story is kind of intriguing for me. John is, he's a creep. he's doing things that, he knows how to manipulate a woman, and that's where this show gets interesting, because he does things in the show. I don't want to give you too much, but he does things to like kind of play upon this woman's needs, but at the same time he's trying to get what he wants from her. So for me, I definitely was feeling the show. What do you fellas think about it?
All right, let me tell you about Dirty John. Okay, Dirty John is one of the smoothest pimps out there. Okay, like he he's running game. Like first of all, he gets her, he takes her, finesses her in the restaurant, takes her in the room. She doesn't want to give him any the first night. He just straight walks out. Savagery. I mean, you hit her with the savagery, then he hit her with the sweet talk later. So it's pretty curious to see how John's going to turn out. I mean,
Right.
he hit a lot of slick moves in this whole episode, and I'm not going to give them all away. I wanted to give that one away because just the savagery he's giving you and his little remarks here and there. You know what I mean? Like he'll say little sly stuff, little slick stuff that, to me and you, we might be like, oh, why is he saying that? And she's really enthralled with this guy, and it's going to be interesting to see. What you feel about it, Si?
Well, first of all, game recognizes game. But going deeper into it, okay. We only watched the first episode. Let me clear that up. So Approachable Dreams is the name of the first episode. The name of the episode may actually be a hint into where the show is going. I personally believe that John is a homeless man. I believe that. I haven't seen any. There's about 5 episodes. It airs Sunday nights on Bravo at 10 if you guys want to watch it. I think he's homeless, and he's just mastered the gift of gab, and he's definitely scum. This dude is scum in the worst way, but he plays it so smooth, which is super interesting. You want to watch, but the way he's doing this woman and the kids,
no, they can't stand.
Wow, everybody is great. I liked him ever since he was the Hawk and everything else.
Yeah.
So like, the cast is good. It's a good show. I'm giving this one definitely the chop.
Definitely a chop for me. I want to keep watching.
I'm gonna go ahead and swerve it off because I couldn't find to keep my interest. I don't know what this guy's doing, so I'm gonna swerve this off.
Okay.
But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, the last show that we watched was a movie suggested to us by Dale. Thank you, Dale. The name of this movie is Pimp. Pimp. Was released November 9th in 2018. And if you guys want to see it, it'll be playing on the 28th of this month on Showtime. Now, Pimp has a good cast. Keke Palmer, you'll remember her from Akilah and the Bee. She's the female pimpstress that's doing her thing, pimping. DMX is in this. He has a role in this, and he does his thing. There's a lot going on in this movie, but not really. It's kind of, I'm not going to say it's all over the place because you know where it's going, which is a bad thing. And it was a hard watch to see the pimping going on in this strange, weird pimp world. They had my guy, Eddie Gathai, I forget his name, the African guy that shows up in everything. He's a great actor. He plays a real pimp, and he's the most savage dude I think I've ever seen pimping. And, respect on that, but watching this was a little different for me. What about you guys?
This one was kind of hard for me. It was a dark movie. The lead character, she's played in a lot of different roles where she's the nice girl, and they really took her to a dark gutter role with this. Keke is a female pimp. Just to give you a little bit background on the story, her parents were pimps, so she got to see her mother being pimped out by the father, and the story just gets darker from her growing up in this world as a child, and she basically takes on the role that her father had. So for me, like the events that took place, the people in it, the characters, it was just very depressing to watch. There were some hard scenes in there, it's violent, So for me, it was just like by the end of this movie, I was in a bad mood. It just didn't put me in a good place. So for me, it definitely was a swerve. I wouldn't recommend this one to anybody.
Yeah, I
What do you
mean,
think?
the movie, okay, so she was not believable to me as a hardcore pimp. And maybe that's because of her prior roles, like Killing the Bee and all the soft stuff she did. So she came out, I mean, they had her shooting a gun. She's shooting a gun sideways in here, shooting targets. I mean, we all know that that's like unrealistic. No one does that. Like, it's just, I don't even know why they put that in the movie. I mean, it did have a couple interesting parts in it. I mean, and then you come to find out kind of that the pimp got pimped. I'm not going to tell you how, but... And so they kind of, I mean, I see how they tried to like build a story.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it was not locked in though.
Yeah, and that's I wasn't really locked. They just made it as trifling and as raunchy as they could, which is cool. I mean, you can go for that. Yeah.
Right.
But it didn't go anywhere.
No.
Like it just kind of, when you're at the end of the movie, you're kind of left with.
Yeah.
And
that was it.
But see, that was a part in the movie that really just rubbed me all kinds of wrong. Okay, I don't know if we have any ladies of the night watching the show, but if you are, do not kiss a person after you just performed the act on another person. That is wrong. Wrong.
And that was one. I was like, wait a minute.
That just happened in the other scene.
No.
Threw me off a little bit, so I'm gonna go ahead and swerve this one off.
Oh yeah,
it was uncomfortable.
Swerve.
It was definitely
Good to see
uncomfortable.
X back, but
yeah,
X, that was it.
Yeah.
But he was only there for a hot minute.
Exactly.
So.
yeah. Gotta swerve it.
Yeah.
But thank you, Dale.
thank
Yeah,
you,
thank you,
Dale.
Dale. Yes.
Appreciate you.
And we love any comments or any movies. You know, if you got anything else you want us to
Yes.
see, let us know. Comment section. You already know what it is. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this episode up. Next week we'll be getting more into
Netflix.
a little more Netflix shows for you.
We got some good ones coming.
Yeah, stay tuned.
All right. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.